This is a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast. Healthy habits.
On Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
Great to be joined on the line by Shadi and Bashi. He's the co-founder of Seva. And we're talking about meditation today. Something that might seem something for other people. Something that we think about happening in quiet rooms, people in robes, in faraway lands, but actually can be incorporated into our day-to-day lives here in Dubai to help us in so many ways. So I think we need to do a bit of demystifying today, Shadi. And I know you meditate, and it's part of your daily life, your daily practice. But let's do a bit of a dummy's guide. How do you define meditation? What is it?
All right. So let's break down the language. So meditation originates from a Latin word, which is meditare. And meditare means to ponder or to contemplate. So in a way, it's an active exercise that the mind does. And if we come into what we see today as meditation, it can be confusing because it is a practice that can come from different disciplines and different schools, which is nature of humanity, just like languages can be confusing for those who are not native of the language. But frankly, when we come and do a practice of meditation, you don't need to really have a vast history or a lineage or a long discipline. Just a few minutes a day can be a great start. What it requires above all would be more of discipline and intention.
So when you say a couple of minutes, what does that look like in normal life? When we think about what, the situation right now where we might be having everyone at home in, a 1 or a 2 bedroom apartment or in a villa or even some outside space if you're lucky, we're not going to have necessarily the time and space and privacy that we might have under normal circumstances, or even, of course, be able to come to a centre such as yours. So where can we get those few minutes and what actually happens in that time? The one thing is to find the time, another is to make the time. And if there is a calling to explore what meditation can reward you back with, you can certainly make a few minutes to begin with. And this can be first thing in the morning, even sitting in the bed or even laying down as a starting point. Certainly, if you want to follow a discipline, there are rules and regulations, and different schools have different ways of meditation. There is a silent meditation, there is a meditation with chanting, there is a dynamic meditation. So if you want to go for the basics, you can do it first thing in the morning. Get up on the side of the bed or on the side of a sofa or a chair. Just sit straight, close your eyes, and tune into your breathing, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And just be aware. It can be a very basic sensory experience, and we can build upon it from there. And what are the benefits? For anyone who's never meditated before, why should they start? And perhaps start right now.
Okay, fair enough. Meditation is, if we are to interpret one of the interpretations of meditation or the meaning of meditation, it can be going beyond the analytical mind and tapping into the subconscious mind and doing the cleaning. Because think of the subconscious mind as the basement or that junk drawer that no one cleans it up. And it accumulates all the conditioning, the habits, the subtleties that we accumulate, and they heavily influence our choices and our perception of life without us being aware of them. So if you feel there is a weight on your shoulders, or if you feel some calling to explore a practice that can add value to your life, meditation is a very natural practice, and it can have enormous benefits, even though the benefits are actually without having an objective. The challenge that a lot of people can fall into is to have expectations out of meditation.
No two people meditate and have the same experience. It's very much a very personal thing. It heavily depends on who you are, where you come from, what is your journey like, all the experiences you go through.
And even your mindset on that particular day. You might have a completely different experience one day to another, depending on what's on your mind, where you are, what's been going on.
Well, this is a twofold thing. One thing is truly the environment that you are surrounded by. But another thing is the story you tell yourself from within. Mm-hmm. So one thing is the environment which you have no control over. Another thing is the response to this environment, which is where you have control, where you can acknowledge where you are and to go within and understand yourself, understand these influences from within, and start to fine-tuning them, polish them, change them, break them, build them, etc. So you have a power over the environment you're surrounded with.
You sound like a very naturally calm person, and I am not. Especially at the moment, especially when so many of us are feeling a little bit overwhelmed, maybe a little bit overworked, stretched in a million different directions. And we have that famous monkey mind where we might sit down with the intention of having some quiet space, of airing out our thoughts, kind of effectively opening the window and letting those thoughts just, dissipate and be. But the to-do list comes in. We start panicking about the future. We start worrying about friends and loved ones far away. We hear the shrieks of the children in the background. How can we calm that monkey mind?
First thing is to acknowledge it and to befriend it. If you wish to move from point A to point B, you need to be very aware of point A. A lot of people are not happy with their current state of being, whatever it is, physical, mental, emotional, social, you name it. And most of the time, the attention is on what we desire to be or become rather than who we are or what we are experiencing at the moment. And it's always a challenge to jump into something that is in the future or of a distance from where you are if you are not clear on the current grounds. So if you come to think about what happens inside of us, this anxiety and these emotions come from the imagination, from the stories we tell ourselves, and from the conditioning. You can't underestimate how much there is a pressure. Just being alive as a human being comes with a heavy baggage from your nation, from your families, from being a human being on this planet, right? And then you have the schooling, the upbringing, the neighborhood, religion, whatever. So there are so many layers that shape the reality we are living. And when it comes to the fear of the future or worries of the past, it's about missing the point of being in the present moment. So if you want to come and simplify meditation, you say, I am here now. And this can be a great starting point. And the whole idea is about being fully aware of the current state of being and tuning into basic things like your breath. If there is a monkey mind, you first acknowledge it and you allow it to jump around and chatter and so on, and just observe. You don't need to change it. You don't need to quiet it. You don't need to give it a job. Just observe. And then from there are different ways in schools. One of them is quieting the mind. Another one is giving it a job. Another one is distracting it. Another one is exhausting it. So the schools all can lead to somewhere, but the starting point is to accept where we stand today. And from there on, you start building on the foundation that everything is temporary. Some years ago, I went for a silent retreat, and it was a 10-day Vipassana, which is an inward journey of being in silence for a period of time during the day, sitting, just focusing on the breath, focusing on the senses. And the core foundation of this practice was everything is temporary. The transience of life is what we need to accept. And so whatever highs or lows that we experience are temporary. And this can be questioned and be argued upon in so many ways, but you can't not accept that because constant is the only change, or change is the only constant we have in life. when we reflect upon everything in our life.
Shadi, I've got to ask you about meditation apps. We're seeing more and more appear, but what are your thoughts?
I have never used them, frankly. I heard of them, but after all, an app can basically be just another recording of someone giving you instructions. I wouldn't say it's easy from day one to just follow these instructions or narrate them yourself. So if an app is basically giving you guidance into what to do, yeah, that definitely could work. All what you need to do is to have a discipline. You know, if you tell yourself, I'm going to sit those 5 minutes no matter what, first thing in the morning, and after a week I'm making them 10 minutes, no matter what, without expectations of any outcome, then that is a great, great starting point. The only problem is that people give up too soon, you know, and when after 5 days or 3 days or a week, you don't feel like it today, or you get distracted, or you forget for whatever reason, come back and do it again, no matter what. You know, it's not about how many times you fall, it's about how often you get up and keep moving, because this is the way that meditation happens. Meditation is a practice, but actually the practice is a practice of discipline, because when it happens to you. When you meet that state and that frequency in the right condition, it happens to you. It's something that happens, and you can't analyze it, you cannot question it, you cannot just navigate through it. You know, it's something that happens to you, and as soon as you bring your I and presence and the ego and the analytical mind, that's where it fades away. So you want to get to a state of being without expectation. And this can bring you incredible mystical experiences, gives you an incredible tool, like you said, Helen, that in these days and these last couple of weeks, gives you serenity and trust that is far beyond that layer of disturbance that is on the superficiality of everyday life.
Now, whenever I read interviews with incredibly successful people and they talk about their daily routine, almost all of them will say they start the day with meditation. How do you think it can help with success and focus, if we think about success in career and monetary terms? Because a lot of people do a lot of meditation and it seems to be working for them.
True. If you come to think even about the practice of meditation itself, how can it be success? It would be a great honest question if people ask themselves, if I'm listening to this meditation recording, or if I am playing this app or just following the app instructions, how often I am giving the job to someone giving me guidance, but how often is my attention with the guidance? Am I on my keyboard, or am I checking my phone while I am pretending to be following the instructions, right? So what meditation brings is presence. You become aware inwards and outwards, and that will give you clarity in the decisions and choices you make. So like I gave the example of the environment and the response to it, this is everyday decisions. You know, you wake up in the morning, you decide what you want to wear, what you want to do, who you're going to meet, what's the first thing you want to exercise. But at the same time, it's all about doing. What about being? When you are embodying the power of being, the true you, that's when you are present in every choice you make. And that's where life gets richer. You evolve. You see beyond the reaction of the environment, the people around you, or even inwards. You know, you become more sensitive to how you are interacting with the environment that you're in.
Can I ask you, obviously at Seva you've been having meditation classes for a number of years. How have you guys adapted since having to close? Are you doing any online classes? How are you still engaging with your community, Shadi?
Of course, that's a great question. First thing I can say that certainly the current circumstances have hit the scene very hard. And the first people we look at are our own team. Our team are regularly practicing Kundalini yoga and meditations, and I can see the stability in there. This is great foundation for us, because if my team aren't able to benefit from what we are trying to bring to the community and to the environment around us, then it's an invalid use case here. We are working hard on establishing our online platform. We started our YouTube channel excessively, putting a lot of meditations, a lot of sessions, testing the scene. We're getting great responses. We're asking people to comment and tell us what kind of topics they're interested in, what kind of meditations they're looking for. And it's not like I need this meditation or that meditation. It can be something like I'm looking for something to help me with anxiety, or I need to get some focus because I'm working from home and I cannot get this focus. So what can I do? And so we're offering these, and very soon we're going to bring all our regular classes, including sound meditations, online. We've done a few tests already, and it's all been going great over distance and remotely.
Good. I'm really pleased that you're able to adapt and keep offering what you offer to people that I know really rely on the services and the expertise that you offer. So what's the best way of getting in touch and ultimately perhaps getting involved in some of those online classes, Shadi?
The classical medium, from Instagram to YouTube to our own website, through which you can contact our staff through email or the phone number or WhatsApp. The same channels are still there. We're getting more and more contacts through YouTube and Instagram lately, but all the channels are open, and we're looking now at building the same platform that we had for the past years on a global scale, because all our international therapists are on board to start offering even the private treatments that were during their visits to the country to be done remotely. So we're doing heavy testing and work to ensure that this platform is going to be robust and be able to serve our community and visitors the way it was, and even better, because we are not looking for just bringing the offline back online. Rather, we're trying to leverage actually the shift to explore how we can bring a new normal and have a new experience offered on the new medium.
Brilliant. Shadi, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and hopefully we've inspired some people to take a moment, take some breaths and take some control back. So thank you. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep calm and carry on.
Thank you very much, Helen.
You've been listening to a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast. To enjoy lots more from Dubai Eye in the United Arab Emirates, just go to DubaiEye1038.com or find them wherever you normally get your podcasts.